Hello there and welcome back again everyone. I just quickly recolored the front there, swapped the textures, the colors rather, before starting recording there, and I gotta say everything looks nice as far as the consistency. There's still some rough spots here that needs to be finished up, but I think the most jarring one needs to be fixed is probably the top here. And then maybe we can actually get started on the engines of this component, and hopefully we'll get close to nearing completion. Also, this little component here might need some adjustment as well, but that'll be fine-tuning after the majority of the ship is done. So, with that said, what the hell do I do to keep this going? Keep this form? Because obviously, these components are a great way to start, I feel like. I just don't know if that's what I want. Oops. I accidentally deployed two of them and I have no clue where the second one is, so that's very nice. You do not want that happening. So, I see a spot right already where I could put this. That seems to work pretty well if I wind it enough. My problem is, how exactly do I want that to work? Because when I wind like that, it's going to start poking out. And the only way to fix that is if I make it thicker, so that way it slopes downward more. So, let's see how that looks when I put it in. It's kind of okay. I kind of want to make it longer to maybe fill out some of that. I don't know how big is too big though. That's the issue there. But if I can get a nice consistent form there and ultimately flush out with how this front is kind of sloped, maybe that'll be okay. Now, I need to get a good look to see if this actually... Oh, there we go. I had something selected, so... It's higher than the front, so that's good. I may need to make it a little bit taller, though. Just so... Oops, that's width. I don't want that. Or maybe I'm okay with it. I want a little bit higher, so that way it doesn't clip the lighting there. And of course, I kind of got rid of completely the little energy conduits here I had, so maybe I'll have to move them. So much for all my preparation from last video, trying to get a little bit of tiny cosmetics in. Did not work out very well. Now I'm kind of tempted to put it right there. Right in that little groove here. Because that could work to solve my problem that I may have had earlier. Now just gotta be flushly put in there. And I guess that's okay. I honestly am not sure. Could be a stupid idea. I'll let you be the judge. You can always yell at me in comments if it's really that horrible. If it's really that bad. I'm hoping it is at least progress, if nothing else. Now let's continue extending this out. And I know I'm comfortable with these being narrower, because I kind of used them narrow before. Using these gizmos can be a bit tricky though, trying to learn. Now the big question, do I have it backwards? Do I invert it or not? Because I need a little bit higher, a little bit taller. Whoa, this is weird how it's kind of inverted. I have to go down to make it longer? That seems counterintuitive a little bit. And then just stretch it out longer. Although again, if I stretch it out longer, that means the pincers, the prongs, whatever, the clamps, as I call them before, are going to start sticking out to the front, which I don't think I want, so... Yeah, like that. I don't know if that's what I want, but that's a little bit intrusive, though. So maybe not as good as I like. Unfortunately. Unless I can move it back some, which means there's a bit of an opening there. So damned if you do, damned if you don't, I guess. Not a lot I can do about that as far as stretching it. Unless I invert it. How does that look if I invert it? Hell, invert it upside down to get rid of some of those blocks could be okay. I'll hold on to that idea though. Yeah, it looks a lot better here. Invert it that way. It's just a question if I want those blocky components or not showing. And that works good as is there. That seems pretty consistent. A little bit of weird textures on the side, but do I make it longer or not? If I make it longer, that probably makes the texturing even worse, though, I gotta say. So I need to be mindful of that. Unless I do it like that, maybe leave a little bit of silver, because it's not really that dominant, so that could be okay. And now, if I can do this right, I want to cover up this cockpit area inside the last component and just have this hopefully fill out the rest. I'm not sure if this will work or not. It doesn't seem like it will, because I'm already seeing lighting regardless of what I do already inside the component, so that might not be as good as I want it to be, unfortunately. Or maybe that's okay. It's very subtle, the lighting. It doesn't look intrusive. Maybe that's okay. It does need to be a little bit taller though, to kind of get flush. But of course, now that sticks out the back there, so maybe that's... Actually, let me make them both lower instead. Try and get a little more flush in the back rather than the front. Let's see how that looks. Not quite perfect because the back still needs to connect. So that seems okay. Now what happens if I invert the textures back? Is that okay? I think it's okay. It's not quite wide enough though. I feel like I need a little bit more to kind of widen out the side. That's what I'm feeling like, but there's not much components for doing that though. So I don't think that's going to work to my liking, ideally. Unless I use another one of these like big end components here, that could work. But can I find another one like that? Similar to this component? There's a few of them like that, but I don't think that's going to work for me. Maybe? Let me try it, at least. Another component like this, sink it in, so that way the lighting is not showing, but it maybe widens the bulk of this thing some more. Ideally, in theory, we might be getting somewhere finally, folks. For once, I may actually be making progress. It helps to widen the... Yeah, that helps widen the ship some, but it is rough at the front, kind of like how it is rough here. So I'm going to have to learn how to fix that, so that way I can do the same thing for down here. And also, what happens if I invert it? Would that be good? I have to offset it completely, unfortunately, to know for certain. Because it's not going to make a difference in back, but how about the front? I think I like it better the other way. To be perfectly honest, I like it better the other way. So, this is what I decide to do. Do I make it longer or not? Well, actually, I want to put another component in there. Can I get away with this? In a way. Not when there's two of them. I think the answer is that question. I do not want two of them. Give me a nice singular piece, if you could please, and then I'll be happy with it. Now, where the hell is that piece I was looking at? So I need to do something a little bit different to make sure this does not look too similar to the other components. So I'd probably try and hide the wings if it's at all possible. Shrink it down. And then sink it in, just to kind of round out, and we'll see how much is sticking out when I do that. Well, not a whole lot is sticking out, unfortunately, so... Invert the other way? Well, that's the wrong inversion. Okay, there we go. That's what I was looking for. So how does that seem when it's in there? It takes up more space. That's kind of the apparent. Now, what if I do it this way instead? It doesn't reliably fill out that that little gap here, which is what I was hoping to do. So, let's invert back the other way. Once I remember which axis it was. and try and get this into place. We're going to stretch it a tiny bit. Sink it down, or maybe I don't... Do I need to sink it down? Maybe I don't need to. Because filling out like that works out well. I just might need a little bit wider. It threatens to clip though. But I think I'm okay. It's not too bad. Not too bad, but if I make it taller, that helps flush it out. Some. Just gotta be careful of being intruding. So that could be the best I can do. Unless I make it even more drastic. How exactly I can make it drastic? Just have it stick all the way out like that, maybe. And that's okay as well, actually. That's kind of okay, because aside for this one little metal trim, everything else seems alright. And yeah, now the silver becomes too much of a dominant color if I invert it there, so I think I have to leave that as the blue. And I really want to say that's good enough. This section here is kind of plain though, isn't it? I just don't know what the hell I can throw on there to help fix that. And I don't even know what this component is. It's just a long stick of some kind with lighting, so I don't think it works out the best, but if it fits in there nicely, it could work. Work for what, I'm not sure. Because, yeah, it's going to go into the lighting here. It's not going to be ideal. I don't even know what to make of that. I don't even know what it's for. Maybe it's just meant for, like, throwing on the side here for additional lighting. Maybe that's a thought. Although, I don't know what to make of that. Honestly, don't know if that's a good thing or not. It's subtle, adds more lighting, but rough spot at the end. So am I able to fix that? Fix that in a really tiny way, so it doesn't cover over the lighting here for this back component, even though it is obnoxiously large in comparison to it, which may not still be as effective as I want. Right now, though, I'm kind of just throwing random pieces, it feels like, isn't it? That's what it feels like, but at least this will give it a little bit more of a rounder end. So I'm sort of okay with it. It's just a matter of fitting in. Hell, I could just rotate downward, maybe. Of course, that's not going to work because the rotation's already set that way. Never mind. I'm going to have to try this again. Oh wait, that was the proper rotation. I'm an idiot. So rotate downwards to kind of seem like it slopes into the ship again before it gets to the lighting. I have no clue what I'm talking about. Pay no attention to this madman. Pay no attention. Also, it's not connected in properly. So I need a little bit longer, I think. And I think all that's left to do is just stretch the Z axis, is it? No, the wrong axis. Y axis into the ship. Hell, I could keep stretching to it. No, I was thinking maybe I could have kept stretching until it covers up the black portion there, but that's not too bad. Textures are a bit off, but no, that's like the least. No one's gonna really notice that so much. It's not perfect either, mind you, but I don't know what to really make of it. I feel like as I just said, feel like I'm just trying to throw random pieces in, so at least that makes it look better there, to an extent. And now, let's finally get to some engine, shall we? Although you could tell this is a bit rough, isn't it? The lane here probably needs to get covered up by something. And we have these big massive blocks to put hopefully a giant thruster in. Problem is, there's not much choices of engines to throw on this thing, is there? And of course, it doesn't even want to show me properly, because I'm looking at the wrong inversion. Oh wait, are you telling me this is not an actual engine? Is that... Is that really the message I'm getting? Because look at the icons. Does that clearly look like an engine to you? What the hell is this component? Ladies and gentlemen, our engine is nothing more than a block. Well, there's some false advertisement for you. Because clearly I see otherwise. Now, let's try to find some real engines, I guess. I would like some square engines though, so I think these are probably the best I'm gonna do. I need to make them pretty damn big though, which kind of risks making it too big. It might intrude somewhere to my liking, and while I can get the size I want, how do I want it to look? Do I want up from the top down like this? Or do I want it sideways like it was? I'm not quite sure. I like it this way, to be honest. I just need to make them a lot bigger. How big can I get away with? Because this is a huge scale ship after all. It needs a lot of engine power. Look at those guns. Look at those thrusters. Now, do I have it even further to make it stick out the back, rather? Do I go even more ridiculous and have it that way? It doesn't look too bad there. Texture's stretching a little bit, which is slightly problematic, but that kind of instantly makes these white line there not as apparent, at least, which I'm kind of okay with. Now, can I throw in another engine in here somewhere? Now, where the hell did my engine piece go? I know I put it on there, I just don't know where the hell it went. So bear with me a moment as I try and figure out this mystery. There we are. And I don't think I want one component like that. I think I want two, but of course they're not quite centered is the problem, so if I'm gonna make two copies, I'm gonna have to put another one there and try and figure out where it fits. Now, the real question, is there any way I can fit this in there and make it look good? Because I don't think I want that to stick out as much as these giant engines here. Although, I'm not really seeing much of a good spot to place it. Yeah, it's not... Unless I can somehow cover up the white lane. If I have it just on the top there, that helps fix the issue I have with the white lane sticking out. So it could be okay with that, to an extent. Let's narrow it down. Try and avoid intruding into the bottom engine some. And find that nice little sweet spot for this component somehow. Now, let's make it wider. Not too wide, so I'm going to have to be careful of that. And it fits in there really well with the components there in front, conveniently. Now, how big do I want it? What's the right size for this component? I think it may be okay there. It just needs to feel like it rests on top of that a little bit better. So I have to raise it up a tiny bit. Make it look a little more flush and natural. Now it looks like it's kind of just resting on it. Which kind of ruins it as well. But that might be a bit problematic, actually. I don't know. Otherwise, that looks pretty nice. Not perfect, but it looks pretty nice. I like it. It changes the dynamic a little bit in my eyes of the ship. Just a little bit. And I'm okay to leave it with that, but now, the question, what the hell do I do with this giant component I left all this time, or just haven't bothered with all this time since I placed them? Because they're still important for filling out, I want to say. I just don't know what the purpose is now. Oh. Well, that explains it. They're attached to those blocky components, which I can easily fix. That's not a problem. They just need... I need to fill out the bottom some, do I? Or at least get a nice connecting piece, at least. Which is okay. I just got to find that perfect sweet spot. So that way I can be comfortable knowing I won't have to move them again. Although perfection is fleeting, we know that. So it's likely that's not... Even if I find a good spot, it's probably going to be short-lived. Especially since the lane is going to be pretty tricky to figure out. Yeah, that's okay. I'm kind of okay with that being open. To an extent. It still needs a tiny bit of flushing out or filling out. Now where's this block component? I want to put that back in the middle some. Like where it was before. Although it probably doesn't serve its purpose of being like a relay of sorts. But now the lighting's showing, which I think I'm okay with at this now, at least. I think I'm okay with that lane there. Since now we have the open space to give it a few. Again, just need to fill out the bottom. So what's a good way to fill out the bottom? Because I think this component I had in mind is probably too small. It looks good up there as is, if I were to be honest. Because I could kind of stretch it out and fill in the front, which wasn't really what I was expecting. But I think it works as a little bit of a cosmetic touch. It might now be too long though, so let me fix that some. And also there's lighting there, so I might have to actually have to make it taller if I want it to be there, stay there or not. See if I could get the lighting to show some, or hell, maybe I invert it. Needless nitpicking, I think, at this point of the ship. But hey, a little bit of fine-tuning never hurts anybody. I'm just hoping I get to the end someday with this ship. That would be kind of nice. It helps at least get the more consistent lighting theme, so I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it to an extent. I still want to make it longer, so stretch out to the back now as a result. So make it higher. Move it back. And how's that look? I think we're okay. I think we're okay unless I want to narrow it. That's not narrowing. And narrowing might be too much actually. I'm getting easily nitpicky, but hey. Like I said before, we are making progress. It will get done eventually. Actually, I think I want it wider. I think I'm okay with that a little bit. This is something to do after a ship is done to really focus on, because this is a little bit needless. Just a little bit. And there. Now back to where the hell it was. I was hoping to fill this out with that component, but we found something different for it. So what is a good component for that? What is a good component? Something that curves, symmetrical. I think a lot of these components are a little bit too small though. This has a curve to it. It has the white lighting there to kind of look like it's an underbelly. But is it gonna be? I fear it's gonna get stretched out too much. Oops, I've got the wrong axis. Silly me. And I guess I should be using the gizmos. It'll take some learning. I have it so ingrained in me using the old-fashioned method. And let's see, is that an actual engine component? No, it's not. So I don't know what way I want to do, how I want to do it, but if this can fill in there as a circular piece, that'll look good. It might be a bit rough there in the front unless it can connect to something. That's the only problem. Because no matter which way I invert it, that end there is not exactly going to be ideal. Or maybe that's okay. It's really impossible to tell. I can only go by the indication that's showing me here. It doesn't fill out that gap as much as I like, ideally. It adds more lighting though, which I guess considering I have no way to actually see under there, that might be okay. I'm gonna have nightmares about these underbelly of these ships. having no idea how they properly work or look, and worried it looks completely awful with polka dot coloring and everything. That's gonna keep me up at night, I think. Alright, now this looks like an impressive cruiser. Still some rough spots here, like I need to fill out this section here and make it look more natural. And now where was the component I originally had here? I would like to try experiment with that to see if it can fit there and give me a little bit of lighting as a bonus. I just can't remember for the life of me where that was, which is a bit problematic, because I like to maybe put some light up on the top there. If it doesn't intrude too much, I'll leave it. And then we try and round out the bottom section here some. Try and smooth it a little bit. I'm just not sure what that component was, because I have no idea where the hell to find it now. And what is this component? Well, this is an antenna of some sorts, which maybe can actually work. Yeah, it's circular. I just gotta invert it some. Invert some, try and put it into place and see how that looks. If anything, it'll make a good weapon port of some kind. It's not going to give me the lighting I had in mind though, but maybe it could work, at least smoothing it out. We'll see. Just size it up. Actually, let me just do the proportional scaling because I don't want to risk it sticking up pseudo lighting there, like I'm just doing now. So what happens if I move it inward then? It starts covering up the line behind, which may not be entirely bad if I do this right. Yeah, because now none of the circular components are sticking out, so that kind of defeats the purpose I had in mind there. So let's just move it in there. Yeah, that makes kind of a weapon port of sorts, so maybe I can forsake the circular component altogether and just have this fit in there flush to some extent. Maybe I can get away with that as a weapon for a couple of turrets or even a railgun. I don't know. Does that work? It's not quite centered, so I need to lower it anyway. At least look more natural. And that's scaling, so that doesn't help me either. So if I move forward, that starts to stick out and intrude, so I need to be careful how I do this. And making it too thick makes it seem a little unnatural. But the metal trim there is a nice touch. I kind of like it. It still needs filling on the bottom, I feel like, which still gives me no clue how to fix that. Because yeah, that has lane on the side, so that's not ideal, and that also looks like a thruster of some kind. I don't know. What's a good circular-like component? I can't even see this component, so I don't even know if this is going to work to my liking. I don't even know what this is. I think that's something for a starbase if I were to be perfectly honest, so maybe that won't do. Trying to find something to fill out underneath. And I have no clue what this is either, but I saw lighting of some sort on it, so maybe it has like a few ports. Yeah, maybe I can use this. The problem is it's going to be rough on both sides because they're flat. So I don't think this works either. Ooh, unless I instead use this component on top rather than on the bottom and have just this lane sticking out, if that's at all possible. At least then it keeps the consistent look of the few ports for the ship. I just need the right rotation now, so 45 is it 45 degrees ideal or 30? I'm half concerned that the back's going to start sticking out once I put into place, so brace yourselves, this could still go horribly, horribly wrong. And I don't have copies, so I need to make sure I have a copy there. For if I want to go with it, I have it on both sides. Alright, put it into place, which is a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. So, narrowing should fix that, maybe? To an extent it does. And it's not quite ideal. I still need to do some fine tweaking there. I'm going to have it rotate sideways, look like it's a stairway down almost. But I still need to try and prevent this damn component from sticking out, which is a little harder than I like. I don't know if rotation is going to fix it on its own or not. Speaking of rotation, I don't think this is the right rotation I want. What is the rotation? I guess 35 is actually the magic number. I think I had that before. So, raise it up into place. It's not really a perfect fit though. So actually, single rotation. I think 32, 33 might be what I'm looking for. A more specific number, I'm not sure. Of course, I have that component sticking up on top, which I do not want at all, damn it. And that kind of looks awful. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, that looks horrible. I don't think I want it. I just don't know what better option I have. Although it still served the purpose of maybe filling out the bottom there. So it's probably still worth doing there. But I have these generator components, so maybe I do that instead. See how that looks, because it is near a power relay, so I could get away with it, in theory. It's not quite big enough or thick enough to justify it, though. It doesn't justify it enough to kind of fill out that entire region, I think. It might be too obnoxiously large. Possibly. Possibly. I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore. I'm just trying to make the ship look good. Isn't that reason enough? Isn't that reason enough? I like to think so. Oops. Camera flipping out on me there a little bit. And I guess it's okay. Still, this really rough spot on the side, which I dislike. And I don't think one component's actually going to do it, so I may have to just continue building on upon it, actually, until we get somewhere. Because, yeah, I don't want that sticking out. I want it kind of inside the body. So, again, I either leave that there or throw some other components. Because, yeah, that looks better on the side, with it sort of sunk into the ship, to be honest. I like that look a little bit better. It's not as drastic, subtle. Well, what am I trying to say? It's not as... It doesn't try and steal the show, I guess is what I'm trying to say. It's a weird way to phrase it. It doesn't draw the attention as much. I like to think I know what I'm talking about. I just don't think that's actually true. The more I try and work on the ship. The more I try and work on the ship, I don't know anymore. I think I'm just going crazy. I think I'm just losing it. I'm not sure. But nonetheless, I am really happy with how the ship is looking. Few maybe touch up a little bit here, but once I actually fill out this section, if I even want to continue filling out, we just need to slap something on the side here to kind of, again, make it look like an S-Track ship.